Hello and welcome to the Ridiculously Good VA Show with Tracy Daviero. If you are a virtual assistant or want to be one, this is the place to learn the tips and tricks you need to become a ridiculously good VA. I've been a part of the VA industry since 1998, and I'm excited to get to know you and help you build an amazing business. Let's go. Hello and welcome to another episode of the podcast that teaches you how to be a ridiculously good virtual assistant. If you've already started your VA business, but you're ready for better clients, higher rates, and more consistency in your business, you are in the right place. Today, I want to talk about actually getting inquiries about your VA services. Today's quote is from Peter Drucker. The aim of marketing is to know and understand the customer so well the product or service fits them and sells itself. Knowing and understanding your customer is the key to doing your marketing better. Let's go. If you are not getting inquiries about your VA services, it's usually not because you're not good at what you do. I mean, for sure that's not the reason, but it's because of how you're talking about what you do. And I want to get really clear here. Actually, that doesn't even sound that clear, does it? It is about how you are talking about what you do, and that needs to change. It's not about becoming a better salesperson in a pushy or uncomfortable way. We're talking about selling ourselves all the time, and that can feel like it's salesy, but that's not what it's about at all. It's about clarity in your messaging. It's about confidence, and it's about making it easy for the right people to see themselves in what you offer. So if you've ever felt like you're posting consistently or you're showing up, you're talking about your services, but nothing is really happening, this episode hopefully will help you shift that. Let's start with what most VAs are doing right now. Maybe you are even doing it. They're listing tasks. They're listing things saying, I offer email management, calendar management, social media support, admin support, customer service. And listen, none of that is technically wrong, right? Those are real services. The problem is that lists like that don't mean much to the client. It's actually industry jargon, whether you realize it or not. Because our clients are not out there thinking, I really need someone to manage my inbox today. Not particularly in those words. What they're thinking is, I'm overwhelmed. I'm missing important emails. I'm not responding in good time. I'm losing opportunities. I feel scattered. I need help. That's what they're thinking. That's what they're feeling. They might get to the point where they say, I need help managing my inbox, but it's not where they start, right? So when you lead with the task you're doing, you're speaking your language and not theirs. And that disconnect is what stops people from inquiring. What we want to do instead is shift from tasks to outcomes. We want to talk about what changes for the client when they work with you. What gets easier, what gets better, what gets done. So instead of saying I manage your inbox, which some clients might understand, you might say something like, I help you stay on top of important conversations so you never miss an opportunity again. So your clients feel supported, so you feel less overwhelmed. That's the messaging that you want to carry through. It's exactly the same service, but it's a completely different impact message-wise, right? One sounds like a task. I'll do this. The other sounds like a solution. This is the result that you're going to get. And the solution is what makes people lean in and listen and respond. I definitely used to talk in tasks too. I figured I knew what email management was, and that's what everybody called it. But believe it or not, the clients don't call it that. What is it? What is email management? Is it managing the inbox? Is it setting up campaigns? Is it responding to contact form responses? For some VAs, it's all of those things. For some, it's only one. And that's what makes it not very clear, right? For clients, we need to use their own words. What do they call it? When I got really clear on what the things I did helped my clients with, then I could describe them in a much better way. And that's what I teach you too. I could describe them so that they thought, oh, I need that. And then they would reach out to ask me for help because they knew I said I could help them. Now here is where a lot of VAs get stuck. They think they need to come up with something really clever or really polished. I did that too. And honestly, that is not it. Clever or polished, it doesn't make a difference. Fancy package names is not what you need. What you need is specificity. because the vague language is another reason that people don't inquire. If you say, I help business owners with their admin, that could mean anything, and anyone, frankly. And when something can mean anything, it often means nothing to the person who's reading it. Does that even make sense? They have to see themselves in it. They don't see themselves in general or anything. But when you get specific, something clicks, and it actually clicks quickly. I help coaches who are overwhelmed with client communication organize their inbox and follow up so they can respond faster and feel back in control of their day. Now, someone reading that can immediately think, oh, that's me. That's what I need. And that's what you want. You want recognition. You want them to say, that's what it is. Not recognition for you, but for what you can do for them. You want them to recognize that in your messaging. You want someone to feel seen in your content, and that doesn't happen when you stay broad or general. When I became known as the Telesummit girl in my community of 6- and 7-figure business coaches, it was really clear what I could help them with. Telesummits. And yes, that's a cute name, but it was very specific for what they needed. If they needed to organize an online conference, what we used to call a telesummit, then they knew that they could talk to me about it. I was an expert at it, and I had all the answers. I got inquiries for that service all the time. And because I knew the specific services I offered, I even had 3 levels of packages priced out on my website, as well as a list of a la carte services. So my clients could actually see how much it would cost them to hire me before they ever reached out. And they still reached out because they knew it was really clear. That's how you get specific. You determine what your clients need, in what capacity, and then you describe it in words that they understand, that they respond to. You price it properly, and the inquiries come. Another thing I see all the time is VAs talking about their services in a very neutral, almost flat way, like without any emotion. And the truth is, people make decisions based on how they feel, even in business, especially in business maybe. If someone is feeling stressed or behind or frustrated or stuck, and your content doesn't reflect that, it's probably not going to connect with them. And those are the people that need the most help, right? They need the help now. So instead of describing what you do, just describing it, speak to how it feels before and after working with you. Before looks like missed emails, messy systems, things falling through the cracks. After looks like clarity, organization, consistency, maybe breathing room. You're not making anything dramatic, you're making it relatable. You're showing that you understand their experience, and that's what builds the trust. The best clients are the busy ones, and everything that comes with that gets magnified. Their stress, their overwhelm, and their relief after they get help. It's part of the reason that I advise you all the time to only do things that you're exceptional at doing. Because it's not about learning all the time and asking a million questions of your very busy client. With the super busy clients, you have to solve their issues, the problems that they're having. That's what they're paying you for. When my clients were to run a telesummit, they didn't need me checking with them about every little detail. They needed me to just do it, to handle it for them. They had no interest in learning something new. They needed to use that online conference to get more leads or to sell a program or to make money, whatever their specific goal was. That was the tool. They didn't want to learn how to do a summit. They wanted me to do it. I was the one to do all of the back end stuff so it could just happen and they would get their goal, their result of more leads, more people in their programs, or more money, right? What do you do that you do exceptionally well? That's where you start with choosing your services. And when you know that, then you have to decide or learn how it helps your clients, because that's the key. Now let's talk about confidence, because this is a big one. A lot of VAs soften their language without even realizing it. Or maybe you do. I used to do it all the time too. They say things like, I can help with, or I might be able to support you with, or I offer a variety of services. I've totally done all of those things, and that's why I know you might be doing it too. It's not wrong, but it's definitely not strong. And it does not position you as someone who knows what they're doing. It positions you instead as someone who is available to be told what to do. That's really different. Do you see that? I think it really hits the message home that I'm trying to make here. When you speak with confidence, it changes how people perceive you. It sounds like, I help service-based business owners streamline their client communications so they can focus on their business growth. There's no hesitation in that. There's clarity and ownership, and that makes people more likely to trust you, to want to reach out to you, right? Confidence in your messaging is not about exaggerating what you do, not at all. It's just about standing behind it. When I got clear on my services, it made it really easy to communicate to the people that I wanted to work with. Your messaging is so important. It literally is working for you all the time, so it's really good to get it right. Another shift that makes a huge difference is moving from describing everything you do to only focusing on what matters most. You do not need to list every single task you're capable of. I know you can do a lot of things. I can do a lot of things too. I call this a laundry list of services. You've probably heard me use that term before. And posting or talking about that usually makes things a whole lot worse, because now the client has to sort through it and figure out, do I need this? What is relevant to them? Never make them do that. Most people actually just won't. They'll just move on to somebody else who's clearer. So your job is to filter it for them. Send them the right information. Don't make them try to find it in a proposal or a portfolio, or especially on your website. You just need to highlight the things that solve the problems they already know they have. So instead of a long list or a laundry list, try to think in terms of maybe themes or results. Client communication, content support, systems and organization. And then within that, you can expand as you like, but your main message stays clear and simple. What kind of a VA are you? When I work with VAs to create their packages, we start with a few high-level categories like that. Everything fits into those. Some things fit into multiples, right? But you have to stop mentioning everything because it's just too much. It's confusing. Call it what it is, and then you can have a discussion with it anytime you want. Okay, next I want to talk about something that might feel small, but it actually makes a big difference, and that is how often you talk about your services. A lot of VAs don't get inquiries because they're barely mentioning what they do. They're posting tips, they're sharing value, they're showing up consistently, but they're not clearly connecting that content back to their services. So people might think this is helpful, but then they don't think I should hire this person. There needs to be a bridge between your content and your services. And that can be as simple as saying, this is something I support my clients with regularly, or this is exactly the kind of thing that I can take off your plate. Or even, if this is something you're struggling with, we should talk. You don't have to be salesy, you just have to be clear. We used to have a marketing ratio of content, like on social media, 80% non-salesy, 20% salesy. But things are very different now. Now I teach you to use stories and experiences to talk about how you help your clients. And that's not the same as salesy used to be. It's just telling stories or providing information about how you've helped your clients. And you can do that all the time. I don't think there's a ratio anymore. Maybe I'm telling you something wrong, but I don't think there's a ratio. You have to tell them you can help them. And many VAs just don't do this often enough at all. I'm going to say, no more motivational quotes. Tell people what you did today, yesterday, last week, or last month, or ever, and how it helped a client get a result. That's how your clients are going to get the right message that you can help them. You have to tell them. You have to tell them often. And this brings me to another point. People need repetition. You might feel like you're saying the same thing over and over again, but your audience isn't seeing everything you post. And even if they do go to your Facebook profile or whatever and scroll through and they read every little thing, they still need to hear it multiple times before it actually resonates with them, before it actually sticks. So don't assume that because you mentioned your services once or twice, people know what you do. They don't, I promise you. Keep coming back to it. Keep refining how you say it. Keep making it clearer. That is how your inquiries will start to build. Now, let's talk about making it easy for people to take the next step, because once they notice you, you want them to connect. Because even if your messaging is clear and compelling, if you're not telling them what the obvious next step is, people won't take one. They don't know what to do. So you need to tell them what to do. That's a call to action, right? And again, this can be simple. Send me a message. Let's chat. Here's how to work with me. Book a call with me. The key is that it's clear and consistent. Don't leave them guessing, and don't make them work to figure it out. Just tell them what to do now. If they're interested, they're going to want to do it. So the last thing I want to touch on is alignment, because your messaging needs to match the level of client that you want to attract. If you're speaking in a very casual, task-based, open-ended way, you're going to attract the clients that are looking for that. Only getting help when they need it, calling you when they need something, you get it done, and then you bill them. That's not the kind of client that I want to help you get. I want you to help you get those prepaid, higher level clients that are super busy and need you all the time. And if you want to get that type of client, your messaging has to reflect a higher level of thinking. That means talking about results, talking about strategy, efficiency, and growth. And you don't have to say to somebody, I helped someone get 300 new leads. You don't have to have that kind of result. You can have small wins too. You can just talk about how you helped people get more organized, get more done, become more efficient, get more responsive, whatever it is. Those are also outcomes. I want you to understand that. It means positioning yourself as someone who contributes to their business, not just someone who completes tasks they need done. You don't have to become a strategist, but you do need to stand behind what you do and be able to have conversations about it in a confident way. So if we kind of bring all this together, talking about your services in a way that gets inquiries comes down to a few key things. You move from talking about tasks to outcomes. You get specific so people can actually see themselves in the work you do. You speak to how things feel, not just what particularly gets done. And you use confident language. You simplify your message. You actually talk about your services regularly, and you make it easy for people to take the next step. None of this requires you to change what you do. It just requires you to change how you talk about it. And that is a much simpler fix than most people think. So if you've been feeling frustrated because things aren't clicking yet, I want you to take a look at your messaging first, because honestly, that's usually where the gap is. Once you start closing that gap, everything will start to get clearer. More conversations, more inquiries, and more opportunities to turn those people or those inquiries into clients. And if you want help with this, if you want to actually sit down and refine how you're talking about your services so that it connects and converts, that's exactly what I help you with inside my programs. We don't just talk about what services to offer, we talk about how to position them, how to communicate them, and how to build a business around them that feels clear and sustainable. So if that's something that you're ready for, I'd love to support you. You can jump into the Booked and Busy Bootcamp and get this done right now. Or you can message me and we can talk about other ways I can help you up-level what you're doing. The clarity with your messaging, talking about the right stuff more often. But for now, take a look at how you're currently describing your services and ask yourself one simple question. Would a potential client read this and immediately understand how it helps them? If the answer is no, there's your starting point. But sometimes you need someone else to read it for you. Either way, I want you to do that. Get it done this week, because that's where your real progress is going to begin. Let's circle back to today's quote. The aim of marketing is to know and understand the customer so well the product or service fits them and sells itself. That's literally all you have to do. And I want to tell you one thing. When you start doing this because you understand it, you're going to find it so much easier to not just do your marketing and social media, but you're also going to feel more relaxed in conversations. And all of that leads to the inquiries that you want. How's that feel? That is all I've got for you today. I want to thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Tracy Daviero, the Confidence Coach for Virtual Assistants, and you know I'm only here for one reason, and that is to help you become a ridiculously good virtual assistant. So please reach out, connect with me. If I can help you right now, I'd love to talk about it. Thanks again. I'll see you next time.